Okay, hello everybody. Wanted to go live today to talk about some things that some questions we've been getting over the weekend, and it's basically the top law firm SEO mistakes. These are the mistakes that we see commonly in the industry, things we see happening all the time, and so just wanted to go over those. And in case you don't know me, my name is Casey Mraz. I'm the founder of Juris Digital, and we help law firms sign more of their best and high value cases. So if you've ever wondered why your law firm's website isn't getting the traffic or rankings that you're expecting, aka those cases that you're looking to sign or that revenue, you're not alone. See, a lot of law firms make common SEO mistakes, and what happens then is it actually hurts their online visibility or even their reputation if you do certain things wrong. So, what we want to do is kind of make sure that we're not holding you back from reaching that potential for your firm. And so today we're just going to dive into the top 7 of those mistakes so that we can cover them, make sure that you're well informed and that you can make the appropriate decisions that you need to get the results that your firm deserves. Because as we know, the best cases don't necessarily go to the best lawyers. They, in a lot of cases, just go to the most well-known attorneys, the ones that might have the best marketing or the most visibility or the clearest message. So let's dive right in and talk about the things that you can do. So, the first and foremost, I think the biggest thing that I see is that we know from a lot of different click studies that when people are doing a search, whether that's on Google or Bing, a large percentage of them are skipping over those ads. So, what that means is more of the clicks are going to the local pack and then the organic search results. And the number one mistake is neglecting your Google business profile. So if you've seen those local results, that's typically what shows up under the paid ads at the top. And you'll see typically 3 businesses there and sometimes a sponsored listing as well, which is another form of pay per click. And those show underneath like the local services ads sometimes as well. But basically, that's a free product. So, first and foremost, if you don't have a Google business listing, and the easiest way to figure that out is honestly just to Google your law firm name in the city. And if that local panel doesn't show up on the side that has your business name, your address, your phone number, your reviews, and photos, you need to take advantage of that. But that information needs to be accurate, needs to be updated, and it needs to be 100% filled out. And while I have plenty of guides on the Juris Digital website and a free local SEO guide that will take you through everything you need to do step by step to optimize it, don't forget the basics. And the basics for me are, again, making sure it's accurate, making sure it's 100% filled out, making sure you're putting your best foot forward, especially when it comes to images and graphics and things like that, but also your category. Okay. You have to make sure your primary category is set as your primary business. So if you are a personal injury attorney, you would use that as your primary category instead of law firm or lawyer. So that's going to have kind of like the biggest ranking boost immediately. And then of course it's based on, prominence and authority and some other factors that you can read about in my guides. But don't miss out on that. Take advantage of it. If you have any questions about that, feel free to put it in the chat. Mistake number 2 is not using the right keywords. So think of keywords as like key witnesses in a trial, right? If they aren't the right ones or if they're too technical, they might confuse search engines and potential clients. So I'm not talking about doing things like keyword stuffing, making sure that your page is really only written for search engines, because that's probably, I mean, this is number 2, but it could be number 1, the biggest mistake I see. People hire an agency that doesn't craft a story, that doesn't tell your story, and they're too focused on SEO. And what happens is you start getting more of that traffic and you see those numbers going up on your report month over month, and that looks good. But what's not happening? The phone isn't ringing, you're not getting cases because people aren't reading blocks of text on a website. They're scanning it. I'm taking a look at a website, I'm going boom, 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 and I need to find what I need. And one of the things that we do as a story brand certified agency is really try to clarify that message. Because if you confuse, you lose. Remember, it's not the best attorneys that are getting the best cases right now. Some of the best cases out there go to really crappy law firms or, really churn and burn type law firms. And that's not a great customer experience, but that's just the way of life because they're visible and they have a clear message. So sometimes even if that marketing seems tacky, which also hopefully you can avoid, sometimes it might be better just from a clarity standpoint. So from a keyword perspective, make sure that your website is optimized the way it needs to be to rank. But if you're ranking and not getting conversions, that's a deeper problem we need to focus in on and hone your messaging. And so, again, kind of tied one, two, three, your message. Okay. Let's talk about that. Again, your message has to be clear. So many times I go to websites, and I'll pick on personal injury again as an example here, but they have the same message. It's like, we'll get you the best result. Okay, what is the best result? They're they're really not clarifying their message and talking to the clients. Now, the way that you can really hone in on this is if you niche down. Let's say that you are a personal injury firm, but your best case is you're looking at your P&L. You know what? All of our best cases that generated the most money for us were these truck accident cases. And in fact, 80% of our revenue came from that. So maybe if we just, got rid of um, dog bites or all these soft tissue industry issues and just focused on these serious injuries, or same with high net worth divorce cases. Usually those clients that are having the smaller budgets are going to be ones picking up the phone or emailing you or live chatting you the most. Whereas, the higher net worth ones typically may not fall in that bucket. They understand exactly how you can help them, and it's a lot more billable hours for you. So those are just important things to think about with your message there. But if you niche down, you can really serve that client. You can create all the content around their specific questions, the issues that they're facing, the things that are really hurting them, their pain points. So doing that, I think, is a really good thing. I think it's very important. And if you're willing to do that, and running your firm like a business, which you should be doing, look at your P&L. Say, hey, where did these best cases come from? What were their sources? Okay, what type of clients were they? Let's draft our SEO or marketing strategy around those clients, and then let's adapt our message around them. So then you're creating content around these pages for business owners, perhaps. Maybe that's the demographic you're serving, that are high net worth divorce clients, right? So all your messages around there will be geared specifically to them, and you'll come across as the expert, and they'll call you. Again, people are going to do business with who they like, know, or trust. And knowing people is kind of the big thing there. You probably think that everybody should know about you. They don't. Nobody knows about you. I run into that problem all the time. I've been doing this for decades, and it's like, oh, everybody knows who I am. You probably have no idea who I was before watching this video. So it's just the reality of it. You have to constantly be out there. And this is where social media and other things can come in, which we'll cover in other videos. But, just be visible where your clients are hanging out. So number 4 is poor website design. How many attorney websites do you go to that look exactly the same? What usually happens, and the reason that this happens, is because they don't do the messaging. They don't have this ideal client profile, their ICP, that say, hey, look, these are the clients we want. Now let's write the content, the message around that, how we're going to craft them, and then build the design. How do most agencies work? Kind of backwards. What designs do you like? Oh, I like this one and this one and this one. You're not your ideal client. You are not in their shoes. And even though you spend time with them, you have some institutional knowledge that kind of brings you closer to them. It is important to remove yourself, and maybe that's market research or different client interviews, or something that we do with our clients that really want to do these deep dives and figure out, hey, who are these people really? What appeals to them? Let's get the messaging right first, and then let's make a website that makes you stand out, makes you unique. Because think about look at your competitor website, see who's ranking right now. 9 times out of 10, there's no differentiation. They have the exact same message, kind of the same design, the hero pictures with the attorneys, and we get top results and this and that. Um, no way to stand out. You don't, to get the business, is what I'm really saying here, is you don't actually have to be the best attorney, as we know, even though that is ideal for your clients. You just have to be different. You have to be memorable. You have to stand out. So don't do a poor web design. Obviously, make sure it's mobile friendly, since over 60% of your traffic is likely from mobile users. And then obviously focus on moving that forward. So number 5, online reputation management. People are not paying enough attention to online reviews. What you don't realize is, even if your firm gets a lot of your business through referrals or referral partners right now, at some point in that journey, if they don't take that blind trust, they're going online. They're Googling the attorneys' names, and they're Googling the firm name, and they're looking at reading the reviews. And so if you have a 3-star review everywhere, people are not going to like that. People are going to say, "Hey, look, maybe there's something wrong. I shouldn't hire this." It's shocking how much trust we put in reviews from people we don't know, but that's the way of the world right now, right? If you go online when you're looking at restaurant reviews and you're making a judgment on should I go here because all these people I don't know said this thing about this restaurant. So it's the same for attorneys. Google your name, your attorney's names, your firm name, see what ranks. That's kind of that share search and try to own as much of that real estate as you can. That's another thing we do for our clients is making sure you have that footprint, that visibility, and the reputation and focus on those online reviews. Respond to them as they come in. And you know what? You will get negative ones. We all do. What people look for, and that is how you're responding, how you're acknowledging and giving back and responding to that. Really shows, how your firm handles tough situations. So that's actually an opportunity for you to really show that you know what we care, even though we've got this bad review. So number five, from an authoritative position, number six, rather, this is really around link equity because at the end of the day, Google was built. If you're not familiar with Google search ranking factors, Google was kind of built on a way of, hey, how can I judge the authority of this website? And we all argue today, is it content? Is it links? Is it this site speed? Is it this or that? And we know from the Google algorithm leak and just from our own testing over the years that there's a lot of different factors that Google uses. And a lot of that seems to be based on the leak, based off of user interactions, like how much time are people spending on your website? What are they doing once they're on your website, right? So all of that plays together. But the reality is Google was built on a search engine as a search engine that relies on links, which are votes from other websites linking back to you with anchor text. That's the clickable part of the link. And that going back to your website acts as a vote of authority. It was from a high authoritative website. So if you're doing that and you have a bunch of these from very popular sources, that plays a big role, right? The thing with links is obviously we learned this a long time ago and people have manipulated the hell out of it. So there's a lot of really bad links and people are buying links. They're doing things that are against Google's guidelines, which we don't have to debate the ethics of that. If it works, whatever. But people go the wrong way, and that can get you penalized, in trouble with Google, out of the search results, tanking your whole SEO. But at the end of the day, what we find is a weak link profile is the number six one because people are not getting high authoritative links. It's not about quantity; it really is about quality. And the best links that you get would be from sources that are going to drive real revenue for your company. So we talk to people all the time that are maybe frustrated with their SEO agency, even though we're seeing traffic gains and things like that. They call us up and we say, hey, you know what? This agency actually looks like they're doing a lot of really good things. Sure, you could improve this or this, but it's probably easier for you to just tell them that than to kind of switch and jump from agency to agency. We want to educate you. We want you to understand that difference because that's the big unknown here right now is people sign up for things either because maybe they're cheap or they're promised the world, very common in this industry, unfortunately. But, you can't do these things overnight. It takes time. It's an investment and it's going to grow and, it's going to compound just like any of your other great investments. So you got to do it the right way. You got to put the right amount of effort in to get there. But when it comes to links, make sure you're focused on authority and getting listed on places that are going to bring you actual revenue. So that might be interviews. Maybe you're interviewed by the news on a specific topic, accident case, or a high profile divorce, things like that. People will see you. They'll like you. They'll understand, hey, if I'm ever in this situation, I know who to call. So number seven, not technically SEO, but it all comes together, right? And that's social media. And what we see is social media is kind of like that town square where reputations are built. And I think a lot of law firms don't take advantage of LinkedIn or Facebook or TikTok or X to engage with potential clients and build authority. People are out there with questions. And if you can be there and respond to them, that's great, right? That's really helpful. But also, it's just that people do business who they know, like, or trust, and they're going to see you. Now, the problem with like Facebook, for example, is you're posting, and you're not seeing a lot of likes on your posts, or you're not seeing a lot of comments or interactions, and you get very low interaction rates essentially. And that's because, let's say that you have 1,000 followers, less than like 2% or 3% of the people following you are going to see that unless you put budget towards it. So even if it's a small budget, I definitely recommend some sort of daily budget to let those algos learn and figure out, hey, what kind of content, what kind of people like this content, what kind of good leads are going to come from this. And so, the best marketing strategies are not usually just I'm only going to go all in on SEO or all in on ads, but rather, your marketing is a stool. There's at least three legs, and you got to diversify a little bit and then double down on those things that are working very well. And social media is one of those. There is some SEO benefit potentially from that as well, especially if you're posting things that are going to increase site interaction, where people are spending more time on your website, or they're coming to learn your brand name, and then they're Googling your brand name and clicking on your brand name, right? That direct traffic. There's a lot of like benefits that we can't say, hey, look, this is exactly what's happening with this, but does it correlate? Absolutely. Number 8, I think it's like, I'm going to call it share of search or barnacle SEO. I've talked about this for years. And the problem here is that people get listed and but they're only like worried about their website, right? So if I want to find the best personal injury lawyer, for example, and I want to find that in my city, I might just Google that. I might just say best personal injury lawyer. Don't just pay attention to your website. Pay really close attention to who is showing up there, who is ranking. Okay. It's probably not just law firm websites. Today, it might be Forbes, another potential place to get listed if they'll let you, although they're kind of getting tanked right now. But it might be super lawyers. And it varies from market to market. So if I'm in San Francisco, I'm going to see one thing. If I'm in San Jose, I'm going to see one thing. If I'm in Oakland, I'm going to see another thing. Those are just three California cities that are relatively close to each other, but illustrates the purpose that we're going to see different results. So you need to figure out what keywords are important, going back to that number 2, what keywords are important, and really tying that together with where do I need to be listed, that barnacle SEO, that share of search. And one last tip on keywords. People also really miss the boat when it comes to keywords. And a lot of that is rooted in old school SEO tactics, where it used to be like, well, look, I'm going to rank for car accident lawyer in this market. That's cool. But do you know how many different ways people search for car accident lawyer? There's thousands, maybe a lot more than that. And so, not that you can track all those, but you should track a good variety of them, because that's what's going to paint that full picture of share of search, not only for your website, but for these other barnacle websites or the share of search, for that are going to rank for these keywords. So that's important. And here's just a little bonus tip. I The way that I see SEO is it's like Google is kind of presenting what they viewed your site as. Maybe that was 3 months ago, okay? And so what we see common is people go big on a strategy, and let's say it's creating content or accident blogs or rewriting news, and it works for a while, especially with like the low barrier to entry these days with AI tools like ChatGPT. Creating content seems like, hey, I should be able to do that and do it cheap. But remember, quality is very important. And what happens is people might put a lot of this junk on their website, and it's working, it's working, it's working, and then it's not, because they ignored the technical SEO part of it. And that's just a big thing that happens, and it happens over time. You kind of need a rehaul or an overhaul of your website pretty often, at least once a year. And by overhaul, I don't mean like a redesign or any of that. What I mean is the technical perspective, and preferably more often than that, where you're getting rid of content that isn't producing results. Okay. It's just like in your business. Are you going to keep paying for a tool that's not giving you some sort of financial outcome or progress to one of your goals? No, you're going to get rid of it. And the problem with SEO is that if you're doing this and you're adding a bunch of content and it's kind of at a lower quality than everything else that's been out there, and then that means that it's ranking, but nobody's clicking on it, or it means that people are clicking on it, but they're not spending time on the website because it's not really that helpful or informative. Your whole site quality starts going down, down, down. And before you know it, you lose rankings for a lot of keywords. So technical SEO, pruning content, content audits, it's important. And I think the other problem with that in general is people are relying on like the same tools. Like they're expecting this automated report that just says fix this, this, and this. And I wish it were that easy. And in some cases it can be, but in most cases, especially in such a competitive field, like we need to do things not only exceptionally, we need to do different things than everyone else in the sense that we're competing. There's so much money in this field. So many people are investing in legal marketing that it's a hell of a lot easier to rank for as a pool cleaner than it would be for a personal injury lawyer in Los Angeles. So if Google's using hundreds of different ranking factors, we then need to focus on the ones that are going to drive the biggest return, right? And with that, we also need to win in more ways. Okay. So maybe we can't catch up because we don't have the budget to get these links or buy this content or do this PR outreach because we're a smaller firm and we haven't gone to that level yet. We don't have that level of investment. So instead, I'm going to win on these other areas. I'm really going to win on my messaging. I'm really going to win on the right keywords. I'm really going to win on having the best content and just doing things exceptionally. You know, as I reflect kind of like on my years of doing all this, the one regret that no law firm owner ever has is investing in SEO when they do it exceptionally, when they do it right. So I think that's super important. And kind of what I'm going to end with here on this tip is like, don't just like take shortcuts. Don't do it to do it. Do it the right way. Do it the best way. Because once you're ahead of everybody else, it's a lot easier to stay up there. Okay. The hard part is fighting your way tooth and nail, clawing up. But once you're there, it doesn't mean stop. It means, hey, we can put in this amount of effort now and continue to grow. So SEO, search engine optimization, is an investment. It's an investment in your future, your firm's future. And if you have SEO questions, feel free to bring them to me. A large part of why I do these videos and record so much and write so much content is because there's so much bad information out there. And I believe in ethical search engine optimization, which is why my actual company name is Ethical SEO Consulting. So, but we do business as Juris Digital. So anyway, if you need any SEO help or questions, feel free to reach out, comment on the video. I'll get back to you. Shoot me an email, cmiraz@jurisdigital.com, or give us a call at Juris Digital, www.jurisdigital.com. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the video so that I can keep on creating more of these. I appreciate your help. Cheers.